Well, hi everyone. In today's discussion, I'd like to cover the immune system, and I've organized the discussion into three sections. In section one, we'll address what is the immune system. Next, we'll spend time discussing why nutrition plays such a key role in a strong immune system, in particular, focusing on a healthy microbiome, aka gut health. Um, and then we'll cover some immune system interventions which may surprise you. And then we'll close with some science-based remedies for preventing and treating the common cold, according to the National Institutes for Health. So with that said, let's get started. The first question to address is, what is the immune system? The immune system is a complex network of organs, cells, and proteins that defends the body against infection while protecting the body's own cells. The main components of the immune system include things like the lymphatic system, which contains our lymph nodes and white blood cells, antibodies and proteins, and these help to mark foreign infection microbes for destruction. Our spleen, which destroys damaged cells and creates antibodies, and bone marrow, which produces our blood components, the red, the white, and the platelets. Other defenses that help the immune system include our skin, which is our waterproof barrier, our lungs, which contain small hairs called cilia, which help expel mucus, and our digestive tract, and body fluids like tears and saliva and enzymes, which help reduce infection. One interesting feature of the immune system is that it keeps a record of every germ that it has ever defeated, so it can recognize and destroy it if it enters the body again. And this is exactly why we use vaccines. A vaccine is a small amount of a specially treated virus or bacteria injected into the body, which triggers our immune system to make antibodies, which we can later use to attack that virus or bacteria successfully. So what supports a strong immune system? This leads us into section 2. Let's start with nutrition. Poor nutrient status is often associated with inflammation and oxidative stress, which can in turn overwork or impact our immune system. Examples of immune system stressing foods include added sugars, refined carbs, and ultra-processed foods, alcohol, and poor quality fats, the good old standard American diet. These foods can lead to cellular inflammation, and examples of ultra-processed foods includes things like baked goods, sugary cereals, ice cream, ham, sausage, instant soups, energy drinks, margarine, deli meats, frozen meals, and fast foods. Have you ever heard the statement that 70% of the immune system is located in our gut? Nutrition has a large impact on the composition of our gut microbiota and the immune system. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said two profound things, among dozens of other potent insights. Let food be thy medicine, and all disease begins in the gut. Which, by the way, I've done a deep dive Zoom on gut health, interviewing a gut health PhD, if you want to review that at some point. Immune health dietary interventions to consider include 1, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant vitamins. And so let's just talk about that for a second. The 5 vitamins best known for boosting the immune system are the first 5 letters of the alphabet: A, B complex, C, D, and E. And B is a complex of 8 different vitamins. Most multivitamins cover these 5 immune health key vitamins. And I was reviewing my own multivitamin, and the label on the back does tell me I've got 100% or close to that of each of those 5 vitamins. But you can also get these from fruits, vegetables, beans, and nuts. And it's 25-cent word time. So the 2 keywords we want to seek in our foods include polyphenols and carotenoid-rich foods. And really all this is saying is bright, pigmented colors. So anything from yellows, oranges, reds. And so for food examples, called out foods include things like bell peppers, spinach and kale, tomatoes, watermelon, oranges, and avocado. Other gut health nutrient interventions to discuss include two key things. Dietary microbiome fiber, which is known as prebiotics, and fermented food containing good bacteria, which is called probiotics. So let's start with prebiotics. Prebiotics are soluble fiber, so digested with broken down with water, that are not digestible by human cells, but instead they become a food source or a substrate for our gut bacteria. Digestion results in what's called short chain fatty acids, which are very helpful for stimulating the immune response. These fibers act on the gut epithelial and immune cells. And examples of prebiotics include things like asparagus, nuts, onions, oats, potatoes, and beans. They increase the expression of anti-inflammatory cytokines, which are only just proteins in the immune system that help the immune response. Next, let's consider probiotics. Probiotics help us maintain a healthy community of microorganisms, and they also influence the immune response. Probiotics are living organisms, also known as good bacteria, and they're classified as fermented foods. Examples of probiotics would include yogurt, kefir, kimchi, kombucha, miso, pickles, sauerkraut, and tempeh. How do probiotics support the immune system? In three key ways. One, they prevent growth of undesirable bacteria. Two, they reduce inflammation. And three, they protect intestinal barriers. So let's just recap. Diet is essential for the immune response, and we need to be avoiding or minimizing inflammatory foods while prioritizing protein, anti-inflammatory antioxidant foods rich in vitamins A through E, and dietary fiber, which is known as prebiotics, and good bacteria, which is known as probiotics. Now, I think this is pretty common knowledge that we need protein to build and repair body tissue, such as muscle, but research shows that a deficiency in protein can specifically impair our immune function and increase susceptibility to disease. And that's because protein helps build antibodies and powers our body's T cells, which are the agents that attack the virus and bacteria invaders. So besides diet, what else matters for a strong immune response? I found a couple of interesting and surprising ideas in my reading. First is exercise. Exercise induces what's called autophagy. In a 2019 review in the Journal of Sport and Health Sciences, the authors discuss that habitual exercise improves immune regulation. And in addition, a recent study revealed that resistance training, resistance training is the best exercise for increasing autophagy. Autophagy means cellular cleanup. So we're clearing out the damaged cells, and we're promoting what's called homeostasis, which is general system balance. So this is a great reminder to build and preserve your lean skeletal muscle for boosted immunity. Which leads us to the next intervention, which is building muscle mass. So regarding muscle mass and immune system health, it's a less known but critical player in what's called whole body protein metabolism. Why? Proteins in muscle mass are used by the immune system to respond to illness and injury. So our muscles serve as a store or a reservoir for amino acids, which are demanded from our muscle by our vital tissues and organs in the absence of absorption from food. As a reminder, skeletal muscle accounts for about 40% of total body weight and contains at least 50% of our body's proteins. Proteins such as myokines are produced by skeletal muscle contractions and help regulate immune system metabolism. During infection, immune cells consume large amounts of the amino acid glutamine to keep their function and performance. Glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in the body produced by skeletal muscle. Muscles produce and release compounds which play an important role in the activation and distribution of various immune cells. Two of our other favorite longevity pillars also impact immune system significantly. They include, first, sunshine, which is photosynthesized into vitamin D. And here, a large study conducted by Harvard Medical School of more than 19,000 people looked at the vitamin D levels in the blood, and those with the lowest levels were 40% more likely to have a recent respiratory infection. And finally, sleep. And here's an impressive statistic from Yale Medicine. Those who chronically get less than 7 hours of sleep are 3 times as likely to develop the common cold compared to those who routinely get 8 hours. So next, let's briefly discuss what to do if you feel you're coming down with some symptoms from the common cold. According to the National Institutes for Health, the best remedies for preventing and treatment of the common cold include 4 interventions, or 4 things. They are vitamin C, D, zinc, and echinacea. And this was concluded from a meta-analysis of over 82 studies. So these are best used to prevent or to use after the onset. And so specifically, they wrote that 1 to 2 grams of vitamin C per day is good. And zinc may shorten the duration of a cold by up to 33%, particularly if you start it within 24 hours of onset. Vitamin D protects against the common cold, as we've discussed here today. And then regarding echinacea, they say this is very helpful, and doses up to 2,400 milligrams per day are useful. I read that on average, adults will get about 2 to 5 infections annually, and we experience more illness episodes in the winter and in the fall. So other common sense ideas, which everybody probably carries around in their head, includes things like rest, hydration, a saltwater gargle, a nasal rinse, which I believe in, and then ibuprofen is useful for helping to reduce inflammation. Will has a Zoom on fitness protocols once that you get sick, and I recommend that you go and review that. It's on the resources page. So he talks about if you have symptoms of like a cold, where he calls that kind of above the neck, things like a runny nose symptoms. It's good to be doing walking and movement, good to be doing mobility, and it's okay to do your lifting, but maybe reduce down to 50% of your normal volume. So kind of take a little bit of a relief from your normal volume. Whereas if you're experiencing symptoms of a cold, or of a flu or of COVID, no lifting is indicated, because that really can end up suppressing your immune system, which is counterproductive. But yes to mobility, get that blood moving and get those joints moving, and yes to walking. So, in summary, a strong immune system is supported by these 8 things. 1, seek foods and vitamins in the categories of A through E. So these are found in bright colored fruits and vegetables, and most daily multivitamins also include these. Number 2, consider prebiotics, which is nothing more than soluble fiber digested by our microbiome. Number 3 is probiotics, and here we're referring to healthy fermented foods which increase our good bacteria in our gut. Number 4, this is encouraging, because this is everything we're doing in our program: habitual exercise, particularly resistance training. This fosters autophagy, which is cellular maintenance, removal of damaged cells, which is optimal for the immune response. And number 5 is building and maintaining muscle mass. So here, this is going to fortify our amino acid reservoir for our vital tissues and organs. And number 6 is adequate protein intake. So what we're trying to do here is support, again, the vital organs and muscle mass, which demands amino acids. Number 7 is vitamin D. This is a critical one for staying well throughout the year, but especially during cold and flu season. And we can get this from safe, adequate sunlight, from supplementation, and from a few different foods, but it's the key anti-inflammatory. And then number 8 is quality sleep. So it's the optimal environment where tissues and systems are repaired. So that concludes my prepared comments. I know I went through that rather quickly, but if anyone has anything they'd like to discuss or ask, be happy to entertain that now.
You know, I did have some questions and then you answered them. It was so well researched and dense, I might have to watch it again. But I did have one question, and that was, the pharmacies and promote these vitamin C fizzy drinks like Emergency and things of that nature. Did your research verify that any of those were good, or are they more fluff and placebo? Did you come across anything like that?
Well, that's a great question, and I was going to bring that up too. I recently took a vacation to Europe, and I kind of had a symptom of a scratchy throat, so I popped into a pharmacy in Amsterdam, and they recommend this thing, and everyone has like a remedy in mind, but basically it comes down to reading the ingredients, and all this thing that these lozenges contain is zinc and vitamin C, kind of like the National Institutes of Health study told us, are the 4 things we should seek. So like if Emergency has C or zinc in it, it's probably going to be helpful. So it kind of comes down to, you know what I mean? What are the ingredients showing that is in there? The other one one of my go-tos, if you can see my camera, is the Zicam, little melt away zinc lozenges. And there too, that zinc apparently is extremely helpful for shortening the duration of a cold if you take it, upon onset within 24 hours. So I would say, to answer your question, comes down to the ingredient label, like what's that, that miracle remedy contain.
Perfect answer. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, very good. And I appreciate everyone's time. What we'll do is we'll get this recorded and captured and uploaded to the app, and then everyone can review it down the road. And thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Brett.